Hello, this is the Generally Bad Gamer Jolly here, and I am going to go over the tournament packet for the GenCon Warcry tournament. Now I'm going very just lackluster video here because all this is doing is going over the Google document that I will have linked below in the description, and it will just be for this tournament. But anybody who's interested in running their own tournament, feel free to use this. However, I will tell everybody this is a first edition tournament, which soon will no longer be a thing, probably. So I'm going to go over the different guidelines, missions, etc. for this tournament. To start out with, there is a Generally Bad Gamers Code of Conduct. It very closely resembles the GW Code of Conduct because I think they make a lot of good points. The cardinal rules are always be polite and respectful, and always tell the truth and never cheat. There are also other rules to keep in mind. I'm not going to go over each and every one of them, but they're all there. Biggest things are make sure you're on time, make sure you're polite and respectful to your opponent. I want everybody to make sure that, of course, they are not cheating or trying to take advantage of their opponent in any way. If there are any questions at this particular tournament or at any tournament, you should see the judge or TO. And of course, I want everybody to enjoy their games the best you can. The code of conduct will be here. Everybody could read it now. It will also be in the Google document, which all of this will be in, that you can read through at your own leisure. Going on, the event timeline for the GenCon tournament, it will be Saturday of GenCon. It will begin at 1 o'clock. So from 1 to 1:10, the event begins. Players are informed of missions and pregame round announcements are made. This will also be when I will give the last announcement that your warband must be in its groups, and those groups must be recorded. So your dagger, hammer, and shield must be determined before you start play, and it must be recorded someplace for reference. From 1:15 to 2:25 will be round 1. 10 minutes in between round 1 and round 2, 2:35 to 3:45. 15 minutes in between round 2 and 3. Round 3 is from 4 to 5:10. 10 minutes in between round 3 and 4. Round 4 is from 5:20 to 6:30. 6:30 is technically the event end time, so we're going to be cutting it close. But then from 6:30 to about 6:40 will be placings and awards. So that is the timeline. Going to need to stick to it very strictly because we are going to be kind of tight on time to allow for 70-minute rounds with a little bit of breathing room in between. Now, event details. Rounds will be 70 minutes with no extra time after a round is called. I will make a 15 minutes remaining announcement during each round or each match. Upon completing a round, both players should fill out their match's play slip, with both players signing to confirm results. This match slip should then be taken by one of the players or both of the players to the TO, so that'll be me, Jolly. Terrain will be preset on the boards. It is not to be adjusted or otherwise altered by players. Round pairings and tables will be posted before the start of each round. Players are encouraged to play for win, though I still want sportsmanlike conduct to be a thing. However, we are going to have more than 60 players and only 4 rounds, so there will not be it's possible that there won't be a definitive winner based off of just win-loss record at the end. So, with that in mind, a win is worth 1 primary point. Losses, draws, and ties will be worth 0 primary points. So if you and your opponent end up playing for a draw, you both are going to get 0 primary points. In addition to these primary points, which the primary points are used to determine placing, there is also going to be secondary points. Now, the secondary points will be awarded based on this chart below. This is the exact same chart from the Tome of Champions 2021 for the pitched battles. So if you win a battle and less than half your fighters in your warband were taken down, you will get 20 secondary points. If you won the battle and half or more of your fighters were taken down, 15 primary points. If you lost a battle and half or more of your fighters in your opponent's warband were taken down, you get 5 points. If you lost a battle and less than half of the fighters in your opponent's warband were taken down, 0 secondary points. If your opponent's leader was taken down and yours was not, 1 secondary point. Big difference there. No primary points from this chart. The secondary points from this chart will be used for tiebreakers only. Primary points will be the main thing used, but if we have tied records at the end of 4 rounds, I will go to secondary points to determine tiebreakers. Other event details are that warbands will follow the standard first edition rules of Warcry, 1000 points maximum. As I said earlier, it must be broken into dagger, hammer, shield groups and recorded for reference before pairings of the first round are listed. You could have a maximum of 1 hero in addition to your leader from your faction and 0 allies in your list. Prizing will be the following. There will be first place, who will be awarded a gold Warcry medal. This will be based on primary points, with secondary points acting as tiebreakers. Like I said, there will be a second place with a silver Warcry medal, a third place with a bronze Warcry medal, and best painted with a mystery prize. Now, first through third will be determined by win-loss record with, as I said, secondary points, determining tiebreakers. Best painted will be determined by the players. Your final match slip, so your match slip for the final round, will also have you vote on someone. I will further talk about this voting process there, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible. Basically, players will vote for the warband that they believe is the best painted and deserves the best painted award. If I have additional prizing, that may occur, but I can't at this time guarantee any additional prizing. Last note for event details is once a round has started, it will not be paused and players will be unable to make up lost time if they are late for the round. We're pretty crunched for time, as I said earlier, for that schedule, so we're going to have to stick to it. Now, going on to the missions. So, for the missions, I used 4 of them from the pitched battles in the Tome of Champions 2021. I replaced it 2 treasure missions because I'm not a big fan of those. And as we can see, this is one of the ones I replaced it with. Now, I want to note that the 6th mission, which is one of the ones that I put in place of a treasure one, has some modifications to it. Now, I listed below if there are any modifications. I guess there's not really any modifications to this first one, but I made some clarifications. So, the victory condition or the mission is sudden death. Starting with the player who won the priority roll, players place 1 objective each, and are on the battlefield more than 8 inches from any other objectives and more than 6 inches from the battlefield edge. If a player controls both objectives at the end of a battle round, this is at the end of any battle round, that player immediately wins the game. There is no round limit here, but remember, after 70 minutes, the game will come to an end, and if there is no winner, the match will be considered a draw. Next, we have Fleeting Glory, which is one of the pitched battles from the Tome of Champions 2021. There are no modifications for this one. I will leave it on this for a second. I won't read through this because I think this one could be read pretty clearly by people. If they want to reference it, they can. If there's any questions, let me know. Moving on. We have Trophy Kills, also from Tome of Champions 2021. Once again, no modifications. I will leave it here for a second so people can look at it, but remember, the Google Doc is below, and also you have this handy little pause button. Feel free to use that. Moving on. Once again, Scour is from the Tome of Champions 2021. No modifications. Use that pause button if you need, because I am moving on. The 4th pitched battle that I'm using from Tome of Champions 2021 is Nexus of Power. Once again, no modifications. If there are questions, let me know. And the final one is one that I have modifications on. Below the picture, in bold, are the modifications. So I'm going to read the modified version of this. At the start of the combat phase of the first battle round, starting with the player who has the initiative, each player picks 2. That's 2, and that's the change. Fighters in their warband to be blood marked. These fighters must be clearly marked, so make sure you do that. The fighters must be on the battlefield, which is convenient because everybody's groups will be starting on the battlefield with this one. A player scores 1 victory point when an opponent's blood marked fighter is taken down. A player wins immediately when they have 2 victory points. So this means that the first person to kill both of the other player's blood-marked fighters will win. If time is called in the match, the player with the most victory points is the winner. So in this case, if you've killed one of your opponent's blood marked and they've killed none of yours and time is called, you will be the winner. At the end of the third battle round, this is a change because blood marked, the card says fourth battle round, but I want to make sure things get hot and heavy by the end of the third or beginning of the fourth. At the end of the third battle round and each subsequent battle round, any blood marked fighters within 4 inches of the battlefield edge immediately count as being taken down. There's otherwise no round limit on this one. But remember, at the end of 70 minutes, when time is called, the game will immediately end. And if there's a tie, that is 0 points for both players. All right. So this is the quick tournament package, video rundown of it, just so you can hear all the goodness. But as I said, there will be a link to a Google document with everything that I just showed you below. If there are questions and you are part of the tournament, you will get a message from me through the GenCon portal. Feel free to message me back through that to ask questions about the tournament. If you just have questions about the tournament packet in general, then comment below. Though you're quite a trooper for sticking around this long if you're not actually in the tournament, because this was not a very exciting presentation. But once again, this is Generally Bad Gamer Jolly, and I'm hoping to see some of you people at Gen Con. Have fun till then.